What's up and welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Tuesday Tips and Tricks. I'm your host, Max at WeVideo, and as always, we've got another great episode lined up for you all today. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, welcome in. Say where you're watching from in the chat. If you have any questions, go ahead and type those in as well. Before we get started, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, as well as hit the bell in the top right corner, so you get a notification anytime WeVideo releases a new video. All right, we've also got our Tuesday Tips and Tricks landing page where you can go and see any of our previous episodes, as well as subscribe for email updates, which go out every Thursday, giving you a heads up what the following episode on each Tuesday is on. All right, so we got a great episode for you guys today. We're going to be going over animation and all of the different ways you can apply it in WeVideo. And with that, let's bring on our co-host, Tyler Wall.
How's it going, Max? Happy November. I see you got the Movember going there.
Still got the stash. It's
And happy Thanksgiving coming up soon too here in the States. I guess around the world too. But yeah, we got a good episode for you guys today. We're going to go over some animation, show you how to use that animation tab in WeVideo, and some tips and tricks along the way, as always. So let's hop into the editor and get going.
Sweet.
All right. So we got a Thanksgiving themed animation timeline here in WeVideo. I'm going to play this and just show you a couple of the examples we're going to go over today, and then we can really break them down and learn a bit more. So first up, we just have this turkey going across the screen. Next, we'll talk about some static text and how we can animate that. Ken Burns effect, you can see these photo stills zooming in and out. And then finally, we'll do a bit more advanced animation here. You can see that scale in happening with our turkey once again. So animation within WeVideo is pretty simple. Let's go ahead and take a look at this turkey, our first animation happening here. So I pulled this turkey in from the web. It's a PNG, something we've talked about before. And it's on a transparent background, so that makes it nice for animation purposes because we can put it over top pretty much anything. So if I double click this turkey that's on the timeline, we can hop into our animation tab here. And yeah, let's just go over the basics of this. You have a start and an end point. So if I use my preview window, I can actually show you what's happening here. So when we click on the start point, we want to place our turkey at the point where he will start. So in this case, we're going to have him just slide across the screen. So I'm going to drag him all the way off the edge of the screen. And then my endpoint, since I already did that, you can see he's way over here. See if I can drag him over. So again, your endpoint, you're just going to drag him all the way across the screen. And then a little trick to keep in mind is the Y coordinate. So if you want him to go in an exact straight line, just make sure that your Y coordinate, I can go ahead and copy that, is the same at the start and end. And that's just going to ensure that he's going all the way across the screen. So in our preview window, we can actually preview what that animation is going to look like. And you can see he's going in a nice straight line across the screen. And we can save those changes. So those are the basics of animation within WeVideo. Like I said, it's pretty simple. You have two points that you can create for the animation. And then now that we have that applied to this clip, I can actually shorten it or lengthen it to determine how fast that animation is taking place on the screen. So If I drag this all the way over here, he's going to move much slower across the screen. Cool.
Perfect.
Let's see. I'll hop into the chat here. Yeah, if you guys have questions along the way, as always, fire those off.
Yeah, I think we'll probably get a couple once we show these next ones, which are a little more complex.
Cool. So our next tip is just using our text tab. So we can apply this same animation principle to pretty much any clip or photo within WeVideo, and we can also do it to the static text. So if I go into my text tab, free, and click on static, I can take any one of these and bring them into the timeline. So for this example, I used the static or basic text, and I drag that in, and then we go into our clip editor by double clicking. And with all of the static text, we can go ahead and adjust the properties here. So you can type out what you like. And we've gone over this in past episodes, but there's tons of options within static text to get some like nice color backgrounds, make it stand out a bit more. But then you'll also see that we have the animation tab for this as well. So real quick, I started up above the screen on this one, and then we ended just dead center for some nice text. So let's go ahead and delete this guy and pretend that we just created that animation, much like the turkey we just did. But then our animation stops and we lose our text. So the way to get that animation to actually stop so we have a nice title is we're going to use that trick that we've done in the past. Hold shift, click on the text that we've created, drag it to a open space, and now we have an exact duplicate of that animation. You can see it happening twice. That's not what we want though. We want that clip to stop dead center. So to do that, we're going to double click again, and then I'm going to go actually over to this properties tab, and I can actually click here to remove the animation. So let's do that. And you can see now it is dead center and there's no animation happening. So when we play this out now, it's going to land on this clip, which is now static again. We have a nice animation into the text. So the main thing to keep in mind here, guys, is the end point on this first animation. Just make sure it's the exact same position for your static text so that when it lands, it stays in the same spot. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's pretty much, I think, yeah, the basic principles of it.
Right.
We still have scaling, and then, yeah, we'll get into the Ken Burns effect, which is much easier.
Yeah, so like Max said, we can also animate different properties. So there's the ability to scale, which we'll get into in a sec here. And then another form of animation that we have within WeVideo is the Ken Burns effect, which is basically just still photos with a slight bit of movement on them. You see this used quite often just to give a little bit of dynamics to your still photos. So let's go ahead and delete these, and we'll show you how to do that Ken Burns effect. It's really easy. It's like basically an auto animation right out of the box. Delete some of this. So if I go into my stock media library and I search Thanksgiving food, you can filter right here to just images. And this only works with images, so just keep that in mind. If we select 3 or more, of these images and drag them into the timeline. Let's see if it lets me over here maybe. It's going to give us this dialog box. And basically from here we can determine how long we want each one of those photos to be. So we could say like 3 seconds. And then you'll see this checkbox here that says apply Ken Burns effect to all photos. And that animation is going to happen for all of them. So I can play this now. You'll see a nice animation happening on all these photos. Now, depending on the size of the photo, sometimes we can end up with the edges kind of getting exposed here. So a quick way to fix this is just go back into our animation tab, and then we can reset these if they don't end up quite how we like, and just adjust our own Ken Burns. So it's not always going to be perfect. Again, it kind of depends on the size of the photo and how it's cropped as well, and the format in which you're making your video. So like if this was a square, we'd probably be fine with these photos not hitting the edge. But since we were in that 16:9, we ended up with a little bit of space on the sides here. So it's easy to adjust. Again, just double check them in your animation tab here, and you should be good to go. Cool, cool.
Perfect.
So I think I had these guys underneath here. Let's rearrange
Now we'll get into
things.
a little bit more of a kind of complex animation where we just combine more of the features together.
Right. Yeah, so lastly, we can go over how to scale things in. Oh, we got Miss Amal saying hello from Egypt. How's it going?
Welcome in.
All right, so here you can see, let me zoom in a bit on my screen. I have quite a few of these turkey clips in order to create a bit more advanced of an animation. So we are scaling this guy in. So you can see I start here at 0 and then end with him growing to a scale of 1. And then just like our text, we have him ending up static, so he stays still. And then a bit more of a 3-point animation. So he actually scales up to 1.2. And then we did one more animation that starts at that same 1.2 and ends back at 0, or almost 0. So that's creating this kind of like overshoot where he's bouncing towards us and then zooming away. It's kind of a more cartoonish effect. We can see how you can create much more complicated animations just using those 2 points and then creating multiple clips on your timeline.
Yeah, so another kind of thing I'm seeing here, Tyler, that we should point out is as that turkey is getting smaller, we see it fade away.
Yep.
You show how you did that as well.
Yeah, so our last tip for this animation tab is going to be this fade setting. We can click on this edit settings. It might be kind of hard to see. Let me zoom in. So when we expand the edit settings, we can see that we can fade in our animation or we can fade it out. So for this one, we don't want it to fade in. And you can see I can adjust the fade out settings to be like 1 second and it's going to go from 100 to 0 visibility. So it's a nice little option to have. We can create a nice fade, and I can preview it here once again and see that fade happening. Just an extra little touch to our turkey.
Awesome. Well, if anyone has any questions, go ahead and fire those off in the chat. We can answer them live right here for you.
Yep.
If not, then let's, Tyler, before we sign off here, why don't we just show an example of changing direction and just how that would look on a timeline.
Okay.
So
yeah, we can.
Have the turkey come in from top left, go down to the bottom, and then exit bottom right.
Cool. Yeah, let's just play around a bit with the animation. Get a little creative here.
So we did have a question from Kim. She just asked, what if you have multiple images?
Awesome. That's a great question.
This could be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you have multiple things you want to animate at once, what we're going to do is just create a new video track by hitting that plus sign in the left corner there. We'll add a track. And we can, what would be a good one to animate here?
We could just do two turkeys like bumping into each other.
Okay, yeah, let's try that. So we'll create two turkeys. Yeah, and it's just essentially layering. So you can have multiple animations happening at the same time. We'll have one turkey start up in the corner, and he can end. Well, we want them to bump into each other, right? So let's have them end in the center. Save those changes. We'll have our second turkey start up here and end in the center. Save that. So let's take a look at how that's looking. So we got two hitting each other. Let's create another turkey for each one.
And then, yeah, for anyone watching, to duplicate the clips like that, Tyler, you're pressing shift and then dragging.
Yep. All right, so now we want to remember the point at which they're bumping into each other. So it's 412 and 7 on our y-axis. So that'll be the starting point for this second turkey. Oop. And then we want to end with him kind of bouncing back this way. So we'll save those changes. And then we'll do the same for this guy. 412, 7, and he's going to end up over here.
Nice.
Save those changes, and then we should have two turkeys kind of colliding and bouncing
Love
off.
it.
So once again, it's a very simple tool within WeVideo, but you can, with layering and multiple clips, create some pretty fun animations. With WeVideo, the idea is always to keep it simple, and hopefully this is intuitive for you guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
If there's any other questions, go ahead and let us know. Nicely done. That went, yeah, pretty quick to do that as well.
Yeah. And if you guys are watching in chat, let us know, what is your favorite Thanksgiving dish? Mine has to be, I guess I gotta go turkey.
Yeah. I love the canned cranberry sauce.
That's a sleeper right there, actually, yeah.
Okay, so Kim just asked, can you search for a PNG in the stock media library?
Good question. Yeah, we've talked about this in the past. A couple good keywords to find transparent images. PNG might work, actually. It's a file type, so yeah. Looks like we've got some transparent ones here. These are actually videos, but you could animate something like this as well. So if I pull this moon into the timeline, let's go ahead and do that. Oh, might take a second to load here. So we got this moon being eclipsed. This could be fun to animate. So we could have it start kind of over here and then maybe arc across, kind of like a moon would in a time lapse or something.
Yeah, it'll be cool too because it's going to have that fog sweep over it as it goes.
Yeah. So yeah, PNG is a good search term. Alpha is also a good one. That usually generates some images or videos that have this transparent background. So we could actually put something underneath this. Let's find
Kim suggested, yeah, a spaceship.
spaceship. There we go. Yeah, so if we put this underneath our moon. Oh, I guess it wasn't fully transparent.
We could try keying out the black, see how that looks.
Yeah,
Actually,
we might.
it would look weird, but give it a shot.
Might be able to key it out. It might be too close to the same color as our background. So you can run into this problem where it's not fully transparent within the stock media library, which sometimes makes it hard to key out.
Yeah, we could also try doing like a spaceship green screen, see what we get.
Spaceship. Oh, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes it's hard to determine if this is actually transparent or it's got a black background. So this one was actually transparent, you can see, which makes it nice. Yeah, so we could even change the direction using the animation tab of that spaceship. You can do a lot of fun stuff with search terms like PNG. Let's try alpha as well. That's usually a good one. Yeah, so there's lots of stuff within the stock media library that you can find and then play around with maybe even animating it, adding an extra element to some of these. But as you can see, you can get pretty creative pretty quick. Cool.
Sweet. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, then we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Thanks again for everyone who joined us today. If you have any questions, you can let us know in the comments of this video on YouTube or ping us on the Facebook business community. And yeah, for everyone who's in the US are celebrating Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. And we'll catch you in 2 weeks from now, I guess.
Yep, should be 2 weeks from now.
Yep, don't know the date off the top of my head, but I think that should be in December. And yeah, that might be one of the last of 2021. So that's exciting.
All right.
Awesome.
Keeping it rolling.
Thanks again, everyone. And we'll catch you all in the next one. Happy creating.
Bye, guys.